Well, it's day 2 of the World Cup, and we have an absolute belter. No, we don't. We have a absolutely one-sided contest with Pakistan taking on Netherlands. My name's Avni Shaikh. Back in the comfort of my hotel room. You guys, of course, have seen lots of content on cricket.com. We really love the appreciation and Gurkirat Knicks. It's back to comfortable surroundings. How are you guys? Gurkirat, first, you're in Mumbai and you're taking a flight out. How's Maximum City treating you, my friend?
It's good. The weather's not as bad, which sometimes you expect, and yeah, people also treating me well as usual. So not no
And as
complaints.
they should. And as they should, because you, of course, are a man who's going to be trotting around, I'm guessing, for this World Cup. But Nikhil, you must have, of course, enjoyed last night, or not really?
Who doesn't enjoy England hammering? I'm all I'm all in for that. And just on that one-sided bit, Crickletics tells you Netherlands have a 51% chance as opposed to Pakistan having 49, a number that you're very well aware of. But let's very keen to see how it works out today.
Absolutely. I mean, Pakistan versus Netherlands. I was reading somewhere, guys, if Pakistan do beat Netherlands today, it'll be the first time that they're winning ICC World Cup game in India. Is that true?
Wow.
Because I'm trying to think, all those years ago, 96, they didn't play.
See,
2011, of course,
2011, they only played one game in India, which was the
against India.
semi-final, and they
Semi-final.
lost. 96, I'm not sure. 87, I'm not sure. Because 87
Yeah.
was only between India and Pakistan as hosts.
Yeah.
Uh, or it was
Wow.
87 just India? No, 87 was Pakistan, yes, because the
Pakistan.
other
This is the
semi-final
first
was in,
time. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
This is the
other
first time
semi-final
India is
was in
hosting by
Lahore.
itself. Yeah.
Could be
Absolutely.
possible.
It could be possible. I'm just trying to read some of the pre-match notes which was sent to us on cricket.com. It's all available on the written side of things on the app and the website. And what we can expect is, going by the warm-ups, there was pretty much very little assistance from the bowler, you would say. And even though that we saw a couple of scores being notched up to 350, I think it was. How's it going to go today, Nikhil? Because do you think Pakistan, if they win the toss, they're going to opt to bat and then bat Netherlands out of the game?
Yeah, I don't think it will be a bad ploy to go about it as well because they've played enough here. So both their warmers were here. So I'm sure they know about these conditions in much better shape than they would have a couple of weeks ago with respect to their pre-plans. So I think they wouldn't mind that. I don't think they'll mind bowling, but I think first game you saw what happened with England. You just want to put the best foot forward and just close the game out as early as you can. So of course you're not going to think about winning immediately, but whatever puts you in their best foot forward, because there are some things that they have to take care of. The third pacer, who is the opener, which are you going with Aga Salman or Saud Shakil? Are you tempted to play Osama? So I think these calls are where if you're bowling first and you don't start well, suddenly you feel a lot of tension. And I remember these two sides played an ODI series in Rotterdam in 2022, and those results weren't as one-sided as they would have wanted it to be. So let's see if both sides have some notes from those games.
Indeed. One of you guys mentioned it in the preview of the Netherlands show, right? That these guys just know how to play well in knockout games because
Yeah,
you look at it, they're always qualifying. Nix, it was you, I think. Do you think they can take
yeah,
confidence going into a fixture like this? They have nothing to lose.
yeah. And I think that it at times just frees you up, right? There is
Yeah.
no expectations. It doesn't matter whether you win 4 games, 5 games, six, because people are not expecting you to win those many. So I think if you are able to just play to the best of your potential, you are always going to give teams a good run. And I think that is what you can aim at. You can't always control the results, but you can control these small things that, okay, we are bowling first, we know what to do with Paul Van Meekeren and Logan Van Dijk. If you're batting first, okay, we know Maxwell Dowd and Vikramjit, this is your plan, play out Shaheen Shafridi, and then you see how it goes. So I think they have the resources, and of course it will take a very good performance for them to beat Pakistan. But what else we here for?
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of Pakistan, Gurkirat, is it going to be one of those Kudrat Ka Nizam tournaments once again?
All tournaments, including Pakistan, are like that. In fact, the ideal way Pakistan actually, progress in a tournament is that they'll first have a stutter, they'll have a very bad loss, then they'll become even more hopeless, and then they'll string a few wins from somewhere, have a few other results coming their way, and then they'll finally reach the knockouts. And how the Pakistani cricket fans quote it is that 92 maybe yahi hua tha. So I'm not sure if they want to start like that, because important points up for grabs with today, especially for Pakistan. Uh, Another thing, we were talking about shine and everything. Netherlands actually struggle against left arm pace, but at this venue, left arm pace averages 1,102. And I'm quoting this from the article by Anirudh Kasargod, our statsman. So interesting bit to see here. I do think that 102 average will come down, courtesy Shaheen today, but still should be a good contest in terms of how just Netherlands bat. I actually want to see that, because there is not going to be much of a challenge from the spin point of view against a bowling type that they have struggled against, which we saw in the qualifiers. So uh, maybe if they are able to survive the first 10 without being too much down, at max only 2 wickets down, then they could post up a competitive total or a respectable total.
Okay, the toss is, of course, going to happen just in a moment's time. What we can tell you, ODIs at Hyderabad since 2013, toss choice, batting first thrice, batting second none. Whatever you have to make of that, you can make of that. Before we tell you about that breaking news from the middle, let's just, of course, look at this. Pakistan was the Netherlands in ODIs, and Next, you touched upon it. They did play in that Rotterdam three-match series. Can the Dutch draw any confidence from any of their losses?
Yeah, they can for sure, because it's not that they played a unit that wasn't a full strength. So most, yes, they missed a couple of guys. Shine didn't play it, but most of the guys played that ODI series. Fakar, Imam, Babar, Rizwan, Khushdil, Shadab, Nawaz, Aga Salman, Mohammad Wasim Jr., Haris Rauf, and Asim Shah. So that was as full strength the side that they played in those three ODIs. So they got a Fakar Zaman turn in the first one, Naseem spell in one of the games. So again, that's what you expect from Pakistan, to be able to find an answer. Now the job for Netherlands is they know what to expect as well from Pakistan. So I'm very keen to see in terms of their planning. So like what Tom Latham showed yesterday, that if with three bowlers he's able to keep England quiet, there is a lot of homework that can be done to stop these teams from going ahead. Because it's not that Pakistan have all rosy here. Uh, you both iron that up top to Fakar and Imam. If both of them playing, you get one of them out. Babar has gotten out to him in the past. Suddenly you are then thinking, oh, there is a match here to be, ruffle some feathers. So again, my expectations are, I'm not expecting a win, but I'm hoping for a great show.
Okay, speaking of the weather, though, just quickly, if you guys are wondering, it is quite decent in Hyderabad. Normally, don't say that because the weather always is boiling there, but no chance of rain by the looks of things. Quickly, just before the toss, I want to ask you one important question. Should Pakistan think about something like net run rate already? Because we saw what New Zealand did. They made a statement, and that'll bode well for them the rest of the tournament. But this is a game one for Pakistan. They should have an approach safety first, or literally remove the training wheels and just go for it.
No, the thinking about net run rate straight away is just getting too ahead of yourselves. Try
Mm-hmm.
and close out the first innings first, depending upon how you whether you bat or bowl, and then probably think of it. Just should just look to get the basics done right in the first innings at least.
Okay, I can tell you that Netherlands have won the toss, and I'm just peering to my screen. Scott Edwards, he's on mute right now. So next, you'll have to tell me. Okay, they won the toss in choosing to field, which is what do you guys make of that, Nix? I mean, then the Pakistan openers have to, of course, get off to a flyer.
Yeah, and I don't see, it's what Tom Latham expected yesterday, that the wicket will get better to bat on under lights. That's what we had a pitch report today, so good stuff on that. And the pitch report also said it's good to bat, rock solid, but it should come on to the bat better under lights. So if that remains the case, Netherlands will hope that they're able to make the most of bowling first, try and put pressure on Pakistan's top order, and get into that middle order, get into that phase where it could get tricky. So I think it's a good scenario for Pakistan as well. It just gives them, this is what they like to do: bat first, bat very big. It will bring the spinners into the game, because if you get a big score, then they are bowling to a target which the opponent wants to chase, and not them having to chase wickets all the time. So I think it could just be a good toss to lose for Pakistan if they get it right.
I'm just trying to look at their remaining fixtures, not remaining, but the next three fixtures, Gurkirat. Of course, an easy start. Dare I say easy because this is a World Cup, nothing's a guaranteed. They take on Sri Lanka after this, and then that all important game against India and Ahmedabad, and then Australia. So those three are potential banana skins for them. So how important is that they get the 2 points regardless of how they get the job done?
Very important, because if they lose today, it will only open them to a lot of self doubts, which would mean, which could at many times mean that teams actually drift from their best or the first 11 straight away. So they need those 2 points, come what may. And Sri Lanka's, I think the only banana skin game is the Sri Lankan one. The other two games versus India and Australia, they'll probably not go in as favorites. They'll probably not have as many expectations. There will be pressure for sure, but I don't think they'll go in as favorites in those two games. The Sri Lankan game is where again they'd really like to get those 2 points, because uh, I think Pakistan's best chance to qualify is to beat all the teams that are beneath them in the ranking, and then hope that from somewhere they could manage two wins versus out of, 2 wins out of games versus South Africa, India, Australia, maybe England, New Zealand. I still think that they should be able to somehow manage, but that's what I think would be Pakistan's best case scenario.
Okay, we'll get some quotes from the captains out there in the middle. Scott Edwards going on to say we will bowl first, like I said. Might get a little bit easier on the lights, he goes on to say. Next, for us, it's all about adjusting and seeing how the pitch is playing. On the contrary, Babar Azam saying we will try our best for the bat. And he's also mentioned a score that they're looking at, which is 290 to 300 plus. He's legit said that. It makes me think about the top runs for Pakistan opening pair and how these two going to go, Fakar and Imam, because we'll give you the team news in a bit. But can they continue their decent streak in the 50-over format?
Yeah, you'll hope so.
Next.
Again, yeah, I think they will hope so, because see, Fakar is a guy who, when he gets into a good enough form, he's someone who stays in there. Imam coming into the Asia Cup and the World Cup was scoring a lot of runs. So again, that lull has caught them kind of bit surprised and probably put a bit more pressure on Babar and Rizwan. So a solid partnership up top is very very crucial for any side, and even more so for Pakistan, who are heavily dependent on those three to really bat deep. So I think they will be looking at it. But again, I'm not playing devil's advocate, but I'm really excited to see Aaron Dutt and Logan Van Beek with the new ball here. They can create a few chances early. This could really be a very good game to watch right through.
Absolutely. Now, we'll, of course, tell you lots more things in this small little preview that we do. We normally kind of show you, of course, some stats, and we'll talk about the key battles, even though Gurkirat mentioned a very important point about left armers and how Shaheen will feature today. Gurkirat just makes me think about this question in the comments, right? Because we appreciate comments like every live. And Kushal Shah, good to see you. Good afternoon, wherever you're watching this. And he asks you, Gurkirat, according to you, how many runs do you think Netherlands can realistically make on a given day, given they're chasing in a big tournament?
See, uh, this is a pitch which actually, is a very batting friendly surface, and Netherlands have batting depth too. So I think if Netherlands are able to keep Pakistan to around 270, they will sort of fancy chasing it, given how Pakistan's bowling is not the strongest right now with Naseem's injury, and how the pitch gets easier to bat. I was a little surprised with Babar saying that they're looking at 290 or 300, because the average first innings winning total here has been 333 in the last 5 games. So if they're just targeting 290, 300, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, especially given how the two warm up games also played at the venue. Pakistan posted around 347. It was chased comfortably by New Zealand. Yes, you could argue that Shaheen did not bowl and Pakistan were also trying a lot of things, but the pitch were still remained a flat one. Even in that game versus Australia and Pakistan also made a decent effort of chasing that total down. So for Babar to say that they're only looking at 290, 300 was a little surprising for me. I think Pakistan should look to get 330. I know the pitch could be slower early on, but they should still look to target that.
Indeed. I mean, Babar Azam going on to also say that he backs his openers. He believes in them. And I'm talking about Imam and Fakar, and Nick's just pointed out why. Shaheen is there as well, and Hassan is back in the side. And there's some more fantastic things to bring you in terms of data, because percentage wins for a visiting team in India, look at Pakistan, because 57.8. Does that bode well? I know it's history and all of that nonsense, Nicks, but I mean, there's some data which suggests that they could do well this year.
Yeah, you'll also hope that they do well because of the setup that they have. And see, we saw that yesterday as well, and it is something that I mentioned in the preview as well, that teams who are going to adapt to surfaces are going to do well. And if on the day you are expecting something else to come through for you, it may not always come through. So I think that's where I'm very keen to see how all the teams adapt to the challenges. And Pakistan are well placed, but the thing that we discussed with Pakistan is their weaknesses are out in the open. So how well are you able to mask them and not allow teams to make most of those weaknesses will go a long way in deciding how far they go in this tournament.
Okay, and I'm just going to feature the team right now for Pakistan so we can really pick the bones up about it, because they've gone in for someone like Saud Shakil, and sometimes warm up games come as a blessing in disguise, and he impressed all right, Gurkirat, Saud Shakil.
Yeah, he was quite good in that first warm up game. And even if you've not, watched him in white ball, he's shown to be very compact and good versus spin in red ball cricket. That 200, I know it's a different format, but batters I'm sure will carry that confidence from one format to another. So he is good versus spin. He has been compact. I think Pakistan have probably added him because they feel. Uh, at 5, 6, 7, 8, they have too many cameo specialists, so they need someone who could probably bat long or stabilize the innings if the need comes to be. And it again also breaks down that right-handedness of that batting order post the openers, because if you don't have after the openers, the next left-hander that comes, if Aga Sarman's playing, is Mohammad Nawaz at 8, so probably they wanted that factor in as well. Let's see. Uh, not I don't think there's much to read into Saud Shakil's record in ODIs, but from what I've seen in first class cricket and test cricket, no, I mean test cricket and his numbers of first class cricket, he's done well. He looks like someone who could do well. Let's hope for Pakistan's sakes that they do well. They've also gone in for Hassan Ali instead of Wasim Jr., which I think is also the reflection of how Wasim Jr. bowled in the warm up games. He went for runs while Hassan Ali was decent, and we have seen a tendency of teams, to go back to experience. If they don't have any other option, they prefer to go back to experience, and we've seen this enough. So not surprised with that call also.
Okay, Nix, do you think that the Dutch batters have a slightly better chance against the Pakistani spinners here? Because there's lots of talk about Pakistan's spin options. And do you think, given the fact they'll know what they're chasing, they can actually pick and choose who to go after?
Yeah, that and also the conditions. As Faji said, this has been a venue where we've seen a lot of runs being scored and the ball is coming onto the bat very well. So, if they can keep the rate in check at most times, then they will be able to pace their innings better. Said the challenge with chasing is pacing your knocks very well so that you're not always playing catch up and you're staying up with the rate. So I think that's where the pitch will help. The form of Pakistan spinners could help, and also having Scott Edwards in the middle, who is one of their best players. He also had a very good knock of 77, I think, in that Rotterdam ODI series. So he's had a prior experience of playing this attack, so they can play this very well. But again, it will need a very good performance. But I think if they keep the score in check first with the ball, it will just go a long way in securing that they don't take too many risks up top, because
Hmm.
Vikramjit Singh, Max O'Dowd, these guys, they also can bat deep. Vikramjit had a couple of 50s in recent times. So they will go a long way in ensuring that you are far more relaxed in terms of, okay, we still know what to do. Even if you lose a two quick wickets, you are still in the zone that, okay, we still know we can get this because it's a good batting deck. So the first priority for me will be to not get out batted in this game.
Okay, and that's a really good point that you mentioned there. By the way, shout out to all you people watching on this Friday afternoon, Pakistan Netherlands. It's a second World Cup game, and there's so much to bring to you on the weekend. Of course, some cracking games over there. And Kushal Shah, really appreciate you being chatty in the comments, and you with this appreciation message here, saying also a long time viewer myself, a subscriber here. I love you guys and your content. Hopefully, that's the key word. 50K is what we're dreaming of, but we can, of course, go past that. Gukirat, Paras makes a good point here. Netherlands have decent enough players to compete, but they're the only side in the World Cup who don't play regular cricket. Only 3 to 4 have a county contract. Does that have any effect?
Sure, it's going to have some effect, but I think to counter that, what they did was they landed up in India a month before. They played those games in Allur versus KSCA. So, where again they struggled versus Space, but that's the best they could have done. We have discussed at length before that how the whole cricketing ecosystem isn't really fair to teams from associate countries and players, but yeah, it is what it is. Which is why I said when we were doing the preview that I really want Netherlands to take try and win two games from somewhere, because then it allows for greater conversation of creating more space for associates. We did not do that. We saw how closely competitive uh, the qualifiers were. If I'm not wrong, I think Ireland was beaten by UAE in one of the games. So you've seen how teams are coming close. We've recently seen how Nepal yesterday, 2 days ago, ran India close in that Asian Games contest too. Yes, you could talk about how the venues were different, the pitch, etc., etc., and it was not the full strength side. But you need these performances from smaller teams to make cricket a bigger global sport than what it is right now. Right now, cricket's moving towards a route where it's becoming a lot more closer. We have already seen that a lot more close and elitist. We have seen that with test matches. Hopefully, that doesn't become the case with the other two formats, which is why Netherlands doing well in this World Cup would go a long way for all associate teams.
I wish we go back 16 years to 2007, gents, because honestly, there were 16 teams in that year, and that just made it sound like a World Cup. 10-team competition, how do you call it a World Cup? It's honestly like a joke. I mean,
I
that's the
till
only.
date feel I till date feel that it was the best format that we have had, because it also allowed for teams to carry forward points from the group stages.
Yeah.
There were no needless games, at least on paper. So
Yeah, for sure. I think that World
Yeah,
Cup brings back a
in
lot of
that
memories.
format, if we had that format, England would be worried and a lot of worry today after that game yesterday, because
yeah,
to recover from that loss and that run rate, it would have been impossible in that format. So again, of course, nobody wants a 10-team tournament. You get as many as you want in, but yeah, something to think about.
Something to think about. Another depiction in numbers here in terms of Netherlands, because they do have, of course, a star duo. And Max Odad, Vikramjit Singh, they'll be, of course, planning their trade later this evening, chasing whatever Pakistan give them. But it makes you think how they are in terms of other opening pairs in the world. Obviously, they're not household names, boys, but can these guys really not light up the tournament, but do themselves justice, whoever they're facing in the day? Gukirat.
with Vikramjeet, I'm slightly worried about how he'll play spin, because from
Hmm.
whenever I've seen him play, he's able to maintain his shape and play those shots versus space. In the preview, Nikhil was talking about those two sixes to Rabada. I uh, I remember they were Netherlands were playing a series versus West Indies in Netherlands where he whipped. I think it was Kimar Roach. I'm not sure who the pacer was, or was it Shannon Gabriel. He whipped two sixes and they were as classy and as elegant as they come. But again, he was struggling with spin. A lot of see, this is a pair that you want to look forward to, because there's the mix of experience as well as exuberance of youth, and there's the left hand right hand combination. But what really stops them is again not having played enough cricket versus the top sides. These numbers we'll have to take with a pinch of salt, because they've again come against teams who are not your test playing nations. So there's a lot to like about their batters. Max Sodout also had a very good innings in that T20 World Cup versus Sri Lanka, where almost single-handedly took them close to that target. So there's a lot to like about this pair, but you'll have to wait to say for them to become household names. Maybe they have a couple of 100-run partnerships so that by the end of the World Cup they do become those names. It would be great story, would make for great content. But yes, right now there's still a lot of work to be done.
And speaking of the Dutch boys, we've done some fantastic exclusive interviews through, of course, Pramod Anand, one of our writers, and I think we've spoken a lot of them. One of them was Teja Nidamanaru, who, of course, has not been too far away from the stadium that they're playing in today. I think he's a Vijayawada lad, so it'll be good to see a Telguy playing in the Telugu land against Pakistan, if that makes sense. Siddharth Adhikari, good to see you. He's saying Netherlands versus Barber, and then Kushal going to agree with him. And Gurkira just mentioned struggles versus spin, Nicks. And it's a good question that Adnan Shahid asks this afternoon. Shouldn't Pakistan have played Usama Mir instead of Nawaz? You can always expect an associate team to struggle against leg spin.
Yeah, it is something that I asked even in the in the preview that is it could be a temptation, but then Nawaz scored a very handy 50 against Afghanistan in the warm-ups. So your first priority is going to be backing the first 11 that you had, and because again Chadab is your vice captain, you can't drop, and they are hoping, and which is why you also see Fakhar Zaman back in the side and not Abdullah Shafi play. So I think they are just backing their first preferred 11, and then maybe as the tournament goes deep, maybe they'll probably play the three spinners if at all they want to go down that route. And because they needed short Shakil as well, so they have enough options there. You have short Shakil who can bowl, Iftikhar who can bowl, Shadab and Nawaz. So that is decent amount of options with both bat and ball. And you can't just have Shaheen and Haris as your pace options. So there wasn't enough room to just really fit Osama right in. But I do see him bowl and play a lot more games going deep into the tournament.
Okay, by the way, all you guys watching this, please like this particular video because, of course, the World Cup's underway. We're, of course, a content channel, if you guys don't know, and likes matter to us, subscriptions matter to us. We understand that all you guys are watching, but not many of you guys are subscribing. Please do. We have so many things that we would cater to your needs. There are three things that I want to ask you guys before we wrap up this preview correction, and we'll start with the key battles. Right, key battles then, and I want to talk about the first innings more than the second innings. What do you guys envisage? Nix, I'll start with you here. How can or who will be the guy to get Babar out? Simple question.
Yeah, I've spoken a lot about Aryan that there. So I'm firstly for him to strike early, he'll have to take another wicket very up top of the opener for him to come in early. But that is where I hope there is some chance because Babar is not going to worry or take any risk. If it's not needed, he's not going to go down that route. So he's a guy who's going to score risk-free, play risk-free cricket, get himself a good score, and get the team a very good platform for the likes of Iftikhar, Shadab, Shakil, then come in at the end and hit. So I think Aaron, that given the small sample size, small history, 40 balls, 24 runs, 2 wickets is that matchup number. But again, very very small sample size, and again, you are more wishing than expecting here.
Okay, what about the name that we, of course, associate in IPL cricket in the Dutch, which is Rolf van der Merwe, Gujkirat? Is he more of a holding one end up sort of bowler, or do you think they can actually use him as a wicket taker here?
Okay, this had to happen. ये show का अच्छा शगुन हो गया. Anyway, so I think they could if there is some grip on offer like it was yesterday. But I'm actually looking forward to Paul Van Meekeren. He did not play the qualifiers. Was busy with those country contracts. Uh, if he starts off well, because he's someone who has the ability to do well at the death also for Netherlands. So I'm looking at him, how he plays, and for Pakistan, I had said that Rizwan in the middle order would be the key to make sure that there is no hold up in run scoring and the scoreboard keeps ticking along. So I'd like to look at Rizwan also do well and see how he bats because if the top three is going to bat in the manner that they are going to do, uh, Rizwan at some stage will have to come in and start aggressively. So if he starts doing it from today onwards, if the situation comes like that, we'll have to see because after the top three being stable, see if Pakistan are around 140 for one or 140 for two at the end of the 30 over mark, then you'll really need all those in your middle order and lower middle order to start playing at a strike rate of over 100 so that you could reach a total of 280 290. So would be interesting to see if Rizwan is in a situation like that today. Does he do start playing like that in that manner? Because I think he's going to be key for Pakistan in terms of bridging the gap between all the cameo specialists at 5, 6, 7, 8. I won't call Saud Shakil one, but 6, 7, 8 and the top three. So would like to see how Rizwan goes today.
And Rizwan has been some decent touch of late, so let's see if that continues from a Pakistan perspective. Siddharth Agikari saying, I feel Pakistan has a great chance this World Cup because there are many fast bowling options like Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan. And there's some more funny ones coming in saying, do you think in terms of key battles, Kane and Owen should have fought naked like Spartacus instead of a goddamn boundary count? I think that would have definitely saved ODI cricket. I mean, for sure, if that happens, I mean,
I did not get this reference. I'll say it straight away. I did not
it's the
understand.
whole historic apocalypse thing. If you guys know, you know. Right. Speaking of some trivia, let's give you some trivia in the Did You Know. Right, we've of course given you stats. Gurkirat and Nix have given you some great insights, but I will tell you this for some sort of information as a cricket fan. Cause did you know Wasim Akram was the first bowler to back 500 ODI wickets, and his 500th was Nick Statham with the Netherlands in 2003. So there's something that these two countries share together in terms of history and cricket folklore and record books and all of that. And it just makes you think about how Pakistan will pile up the records today if they do indeed. Finally, we just want to finish with getting your X factors in, boys. So tell me more in this next segment. कौन होगा X factor आज? Nikhil Popat from Pakistan and then Netherlands. Two men, two different
Uh,
teams.
so from Pakistan, I think it should be Ifti Chacha. They're batting first. He's the guy who's going to play a key role. If they want to have him bowl, he can do that as well. And the guy who's going to bat a high strike rate. So Ifti Chacha is my X factor. Could even be Shadab or Nawaz if they get a great score, but Ifti Chacha first preference. And from Netherlands, hard to look past Bas de Leed. I think the guy has been doing everything that is needed. Probably a very common option as well, but I think contribution with both bat and ball ran many teams close in the past. So hopefully he can do the job.
Okay, Gurkirat, what about you?
So for me, X factor from Netherlands will be Scott Edwards. I I am a huge fan. I've said it earlier also. Uh, I I don't know if it is possible, but I'd like him to have a tournament very similar to that of Duskarte from 2011, which means 200s somewhere. Let's hope that happens. For Pakistan, yeah, X Factor, I don't know, difficult to call because Iftikhar was one name that I wanted to go for, but I I'd say maybe Saud Shakil could, because if Saud Shakil does well today, it could allow him to also build on this knock and then have a good World Cup. Because if he does well today, I don't see him getting dropped for the next game, and from there on he could really build on and provide Pakistan with that balance in terms of left-handed, right-hand combination. So let's see how Saud Shakil goes. Very interesting to see how he paces his innings, because the idea that you get from him when you just look at his numbers, that maybe he's an accumulator or a grafter. But if you're batting at five, you really can't be a one-dimensional player in terms of being an accumulator or a grafter. So can he pull out those big shots and bat at a higher strike rate is something would be interesting to see.
Okay, and remember, you guys should also check out cricket.com in terms of making a fantasy picks for that regard. And just obviously, it'll just be really rude of me not to ask Nick's his vice captain and captain for all those fantasy cricket crazy people in the comments. Because Siddharth was saying, who do we captain, Shaheen Afridi or Babar Azam? Who are you going for? Are you playing safe today, Nick's, or high risk?
No, I'm multiple teams because most teams will be very common. They'll have Babar, Shaheen, Babar, Haris Rauf as combinations. But if you want to try your luck and feel today is the day to go Jai Matadi, then Shadab Khan, Iftikhar Ahmed, Baz Dalal, these are good options to try. And again, it's you're just looking at roles here. Okay, if they get a good score, Shadab gets a very good time, and you know when he gets a good score to bowl to, Shadab can end up with 2-3 wickets. Iftikhar Ahmed, I already called him the X factor, so there is a reason there. Bazilod, while bowling first, bowls in the key overs, also bats higher, can give you good runs, so he is also a good option to try. And Rizwan is something Pacho touched upon on how why he can also come good in this situation. So we have plenty of options there. Please try and make your own luck.
And they're opening with your man Aryan Dutt in terms of the first over of this match, and that's going to be absolutely brilliant to watch. So I'll tell you what, thanks so much for joining us in this preview, Gurkirat and Nikhil, and of course all the boys in the comments. Big shout out to Kushal, Siddharth, Aniket, Dhanraj, Krishna, and just all you guys who are tuning in this Friday afternoon. Gurkirat, I'll see you soon. Enjoy your flight, and Nix, I'll catch you later at night for the post-match
Yep.
review scheme of things.
I'll be there. I'll be there for the review show.
Quick prediction then. What are we expecting? Who's winning this and how much will Pakistan score?
Pakistan winning it. Hopefully, by not more than 50 runs.
Okay, love it. Nix?
They're hoping for a Pakistan win, and margin doesn't matter. Hopefully, a good game.
Yeah, because when he said 50 runs, you were like, and then I was
I
just like,
said
oh,
not more than 50. Not more than 50 because that will provide us a close game.
okay. I just think it's going to be the first World Cup upset. Come on, the Dutch, go on and do us a favor and beat the men in green. But look, cricket.com is the winner. Cricket is the winner. And we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching this World Cup preview. There's more to come. Sorry, Gurkirat, you want to have the last say?
No, nothing. I was just
Or
saying.
you were just
I
doing that?
can't have the last say. We won't finish in time.
No,
I
it's
said
okay.
it yesterday also.
Let's just salute our crowd and end this
Yes.
particular stream. Like this video and join us on cricket.com for absolutely everything.